Hey girls, Maria Menounos here, author of The Every Girl's Guide to Life. Want to know my best tips and secrets for organization, travel, weight loss, beauty, fashion, and everything else in between? Go to bing.com/Maria and pick up my new book, The Every Girl's Guide to Life.
You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Justified. Tonight's host is Phil Svitek. Joining Phil will be AFTERBUZZ co-hosts John Comerford and Stuart Lill. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Justified news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, Phil Svitek.
Welcome, everybody. What an exciting episode entitled Full Commitment, and they fully committed to this one. We saw Raylan's quest for justice, and we saw Boyd's quest for justice. But before we get into any of that, I do want to say, first thing is first, you guys have heard that Stuart Lill was plugged into the intro, and I wanted to leave him in the intro because he was supposed to be here, but he had a family emergency, a death in the family, obviously always tragic, and so I want him to know that our hearts are out there for him.
Yes, our thoughts and prayers go to Stuart and his family, and we hope they find peace of mind during this challenging time, and we hope to see him back as soon as we can.
Yes, unfortunately, he will not be back for this season of Justified, as he's also going to graduate.
Yes.
From Emerson College.
Absolutely.
Our Stu is so grown up.
Yeah, yes, he is.
But what a mixed time of happiness and sadness. Stu, I hope you're dealing with it. Well, and if you have here all of us from AFTERBUZZ if you need us. Second thing, we are broadcasting a bit earlier today because we have a few events to go to. The lovely Maria Menounos, our network exec, has a book out, The Every Girl's Guide to Life, as you guys heard her say, and she's doing a book signing. And so we are all attending here. It's in Los Angeles. It's at the Book Soup, for those of you who live in Los Angeles. For those of you who don't, check out bing.com/Maria for her tour dates and try to catch it at a city near you.
And Book Soup, that's 8818 Sunset Boulevard, I believe?
Yes, West Sunset.
Well,
I don't even know how that fully works.
Sunset Boulevard, 8818. But check it out.
Yes, indeed, for those in Los Angeles. So, but for the final two episodes of this season, we will be back at a regular time, 3 p.m. for those of you out there. And by the way, pick up the book. It's for everyone, guys and girls, and try to pick up the book. It's actually been selling out like crazy. They can't print it fast enough, so hopefully you'll get a copy. But just a few other things real quick. April 29th, we will be doing the live coverage of the royal wedding on ustream.tv/AfterBuzz TV. And that is, in fact, where you can catch all of our live shows, whether audio podcasts such as this one or our video podcast. And for those of you who don't care for the video, there is always our website, www.afterbuzztv.com, where you can listen to all our shows and see all the shows that we're doing. There's, of course, iTunes, where you can download and subscribe to our shows, your favorite shows from AFTERBUZZ TV. And certainly, last but not least, is the Stitcher app, which is a free application, and it's for anyone on the go. It's like the iTunes for people on the go, and you can listen to us on there. And actually, we talked about this on our Archer show yesterday. It's actually very easy. You just go to sources, and you'll see AFTERBUZZ right there. Since alphabetically, we're pretty high at the top. We're like just a little bit below some people. We're very easy to find. So we made a smart choice in that.
Location, always.
That's right. So no one goes stealing our spot. Name your we encourage other people to do podcasts, but please call it like Z or something. You know?
Yeah, call it Z.
Anyways, that takes us to our amazing episode, and
a couple of surprises today.
Oh, absolutely. Let's start with Boyd because I don't want to get into Raylan's story just yet.
Right.
And we had predicted that Boyd would be doing something big, and boy, it's pretty big. He's amassed.
Boyd has decided to take over.
And you thought he would build an army, but I like the fact that his little makeshift army.
Yeah, well, that's the way it's gonna be. It's gonna be ragtag, but then they'll get the whole army afterwards. Yeah. But yeah, he's got a guy in a wheelchair. He's got a hobbled guy, and then I forgot the third guy's name.
But you know what? Rightly entitled this episode, Fully Committed.
Yep.
These guys are.
They're gonna take over the county.
And so it doesn't matter. One guy's in the wheelchair,
nope.
One guy's wobbling around. I love the quote of when they're speaking with the guy. Yeah, Raylan took off the ankle bracelet.
That's right. Raylan took off his father's ankle bracelet. And he says, oh, yeah? Well, so he says he can get around. He goes, well, how about that leg? Can that get around? And all you see is him move it. And uh-oh. He's not as bad as we think he is. I mean, he's not as
good as we think.
Not as hurt as we think he is.
Yes. And
but it is his downfall because Dicky recognizes it later.
Yes, indeed. Quite unfortunate. It's always... I've seen it before, but it still hit me pretty tough of like, really? Oh, come on. Why? Not the leg. Why'd you have to show the leg? Why is this? You know what? I got to give Dicky credit on that one for actually picking that up. I've always called him the dumb son.
Yeah, but he seemed pretty bright. I mean, he's for a guy, well, obviously Coover was the dumb son, but by comparison, I guess Dicky's a genius. But I was surprised, too, that he picked on it so quickly and knew exactly who it was. How many people in Arlen County could have a limp? But he knew right away, apparently. Because
of their connections.
Yeah, I guess so.
And, by the way, John pointed this one out to me. So the first scene we get with Boyd, he's in bed with Ava. I was looking at Ava, so I didn't catch this. But, John, give us your observation.
Well, after I finished looking at Ava, I noticed Boyd's arm, which has a swastika tattoo on it, which I was not. It took me off guard. I didn't even think about that. But when I saw that, whoa! That just went. I just went. Wow! I did not see that coming. I don't know why. I didn't expect it. It kind of threw me for a loop, and I went, whoa.
Yeah. Why do you think he would have it?
Why do I think he would have it?
Yeah,
no, I didn't think he would have it. That's why it kind of caught me off guard.
I mean, but looking back on it now, is there any indication where, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense, or is this?
Not for me. I didn't. Again, because I didn't expect it at all. There was nothing in my history that I had seen with Boyd, I should say, that would lead me to believe that would be a tattoo that he would wear, or that he had those kind of proclivities.
Interesting. And do we think so? Then is that going to come back more? I mean, they didn't necessarily draw attention to it, but they stayed on.
Yeah,
that
but
show.
It was huge on his arm. How could you miss it? I mean, I would think that there were.
Is that just the real actor's tattoo?
No, I don't believe so. At least it wasn't in a couple other movies I've seen him in. He's never had that. Okay. But they're obviously making a statement with it. I mean, you can't be that big and you not want to make a statement with it. I mean, you rarely whip out the swastika unless you're trying to convey something.
Yes, indeed. It's always interesting. I mean, I'm a fan of neo-Nazi movies, not because I'm a neo-Nazi, but there's something that intrigues me about the subject and sort of that mentality of like, why? And so I'm interested in seeing what kind of if he is a full neo-Nazi, what kind of a neo-Nazi he is.
It would be interesting. Because, I had to tell you, when I first saw it, I went, oh, man, because I didn't want that. I kind of like Boyd. I like him as a character maybe because I haven't seen all the bad stuff he's done. I don't know. But then I saw that and I was like, oh, damn, he has to be a Nazi. Does he really?
Well, I mean, if you look at, there's a great movie. It's actually one of Ryan Gosling. I believe it's his first feature. It's called The Believer, and he plays a neo-Nazi. And he's actually very likable in that movie.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be interesting to see if they kind of take that of like, okay, so he's a neo-Nazi. what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Still a great character.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, no, he's a great character. But I just went, damn. I can't now. I just can't. I don't feel like I can root for him anymore. Not like I did. I don't know why. That's just what came up for me.
Maybe that was. You know what? Maybe that was sort of the thing of like, okay, now
we're gonna show more of his dark side, so he'll be a bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, because they've done a nice job of humanizing him.
Oh yeah, they did a great job. Yeah.
And so now,
and it was coupled with him. When you see it is when he is in bed with Ava.
Yeah. So I mean, okay, how do you sort of switch that now? I think as we're sort of going into these last 2 episodes, we need to sort of dehumanize him. Well, what's the quickest way to do it? Show don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Perfect. In 2 seconds, we had it.
Yeah.
He's a neo-Nazi, and that is associated with all that is bad. So
does that mean he's going to have to get a buzz cut? Because he can't lose that hair. You can't lose that hair.
Nah, the neo-Nazis, they don't need a buzz cut. No, it's true. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of them, okay. The whole like association with skinheads being neo-Nazi, you don't necessarily need to be a skinhead to be a neo-Nazi.
Okay, well, I think you're up on it more than I am. So
I'm just saying. I try to do my research on
I
all
appreciate
things.
That's why I turn to you for all my neo-Nazi news.
Yes. Well,
just kidding.
Again, Ryan Gosling, The Believer, very good movie.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But and just like American History X,
Yeah.
There's just something so fascinating about those types of people who have such strong and actually intelligent arguments. I'm not saying they're right, but nonetheless they can articulate it, which is the scarier part, is the fact that they can actually articulate their views.
Yeah.
Even though they're not necessarily right. But yes, so I loved the set of the weed dealership.
Oh yeah, with the break in and having the robbery occurs. Do you mean that part?
Yes.
In the shack again.
And we
back in the pot shack.
Yes. And we commented on it last week of like, okay, it's so easy to get to
exactly. We did comment on that. People just show up.
Yeah.
But I think they answered that by saying back in the day when Boyd's father was running the county, anybody who wanted to do a deal back there had to have Bo and Arlo with them. Otherwise, they might get hijacked. So they're obviously they think they're safe in not having security around these things because nobody wants to mess with the Bennett boys because they know if they do, they're going to get killed.
Yeah.
Which is why when they break in, there is no security pretty much, and that's one of the reasons why Dicky says right afterwards, okay, we have to hit back. We have to hit back hard, and we have to hit back now because otherwise, our reputation's nothing, and people think they can just steal from us without repercussion.
Yeah.
So they did answer that. Although it does seem kind of funny that there's no dog, there's no lock, there's nothing. Just waltzing right into a shack.
Yeah, you'd think they totally at least get a dog.
Yeah,
I didn't even think
that. Yeah, you'd think at least a dog so you could be warned that someone was coming. But no.
No, we're glad you don't have a dog because I actually hate people that just kind of leave their dogs, that have pets just like that for the sole purpose of that because they don't necessarily take care of them at all. But yes, if they were, that would have been a good precaution.
That would have been nice.
But yes, as we noted, Dicky sees that it is Raylan's dad limping out.
And I like the way they filmed that, too. They caught that because it was pretty subtle. I mean, you didn't really see him, he didn't do a double take or anything like that. It was just a little bit of a note that, he noticed that.
Yes, indeed.
So,
and by the way, so speaking of sort of we got to hit back. We have Dicky's army.
Yeah, Dicky's army. So we see Boyd's army and then Dicky's army. None of them look really well equipped, well staffed.
No.
So what kind of war are we going to get? And then later on we saw Mags's army. Well, the making of Mags's army when Raylan goes to meet her. She's got referred to as the Oak Ridge Boys. What are they doing here? So we get to see all these other people involved, and this is the ragtag crew that's going to be. I'm sure there are others involved, but this is all we get to see.
We got to get involved, John.
Yeah, we got to get into that.
Whose side are you on?
I don't know. This is a tough one.
I'm gonna go on Boyd's.
Well, Boyd's the crazy one, so I enjoy watching that.
He's got a hot girlfriend. He seems like I'm gonna go with him.
But Dicky, I'm telling you, he's going off half cocked everywhere.
Yeah, well, I I just still think he's as dumb as he is stupid.
Yeah.
So
Not as dumb as Gary, though. Gary's dumber. But did you see him? Did you see? Well, okay, when those two guys, after they get hit at the shack, Dicky's telling his boys, all right, we got to hit him back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two decide to quit. The two muscleheads decide, okay, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah.
Did you think he was going to kill him?
I thought he was going to do something in the moment, and then when he got confronted, that kind of eased the tension of like, okay, he's just going to kind of let him go. He's going to be pissed off. But one of the things that sort of watching more and more of these types of shows / movies is that what people hate most of all is when you get out. And so Dickie's not going to let him go. Once you're in for life.
Yeah, and he was just talking about reputation and what kind of reputation do you have if you're just going to let people come in and out of your gang for whatever they want, and it's their reasons that they can do that, not yours.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knew something was going to happen, but I didn't expect that to happen. And then I just, he was the guy who stayed. I think it was Jed, I believe, who he hired last week. You said you are going to have to get your hands dirty. Well, looks like he's going to have to get his hands dirty because he's going to have to dispose of those bodies somewhere.
Yeah, fortunately, I haven't planned out like Gary's boys with the paint and the
exactly.
plastic.
Now those guys are thinking ahead. That's what I like. That's organization. That's scheduling.
That's right.
That's experience.
That's right.
Get some plastic and some garbage bags. Come on.
Nonetheless, Dickie, you know what? He definitely stepped it up this week.
Oh yeah, they made that. I mean, this guy's ready for war. I think he's really pissed off that he didn't get what was due him, according to him, from his mom, Megs. So he's ready to take over, and he's not doing it just for show. He's really doing it, or wants to anyway. And
I just love. I mean, I love Dickie just the way he looks. I mean, the hat.
Oh yeah.
His skinniness.
Yeah.
The beard, everything. Just his whole demeanor.
And he's got this great little rhythm when he's talking, and he has this kind of halting speech pattern. I'm kind of accidentally imitating it at the moment.
Yes. Well, it's interesting too because he, when he was sort of assembling his crew that he eventually killed off, pretty much, he said Coover could fight, but he didn't need to.
Right.
Well, now it seems that Dickie can fight, and he does need to.
Yeah, he's gonna have to.
So interesting contrast right there.
All right.
That's an omen for those of you who love stew.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe not so much an omen as much of a foreshadow or something. But and then we sort of end this storyline with when we end up back at the house and
with Helen.
Yes, and she had the line earlier in speaking with Ava, saying, "Let's see, you can't tell what you don't know."
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because now she can't tell anything. See, and I didn't see that one coming at all. I didn't, because usually they keep the ladies out of it, especially when the ladies don't know what's going on. And Dickie, I guess, has decided to really cross the line.
Yeah, well, new sheriff's in town.
Yeah, and
we got new rules, baby.
Yeah, I didn't like the. Again, I didn't like. I mean, it's great TV because it's great conflict and everything like that. But it's like, damn, I like that character.
I'm sure she liked the character.
I know,
too.
no kidding. She was giving motherly counsel to Ava. I mean, this was good stuff, man. And now, boom, gone. Damn, I hate that.
That's it. She just had to go.
But I know, but that's, I mean, looking at that, I'm going, that's, in some respects, it's risky for a show. You got a great character that does great work, and then, no, we're just going to get rid of you. We'll bring somebody else in when we need something.
Well, I mean, Mad Men was kind of criticized for doing that, but they did it right. Tons of shows have kind of done that, and I was actually listening to AMC's Breaking Bad podcast, and they talked about how they were going to kill off Aaron Paul's character of Jesse in the first season. They're like, oh no, we can't do that. So it's interesting how sort of people choose which characters to kill off.
Yeah.
But
I guess they want to really bring Arlo back in.
Yeah.
And then therefore the father-son thing going on, because I'm sure Arlo and Raylan are going to be.
But I mean, story-wise, I mean, does it make sense to you of like, okay, well, how do you get this? How do you get Raylan and Arlo and all these guys really, really pissed off? Well, you crossed the line.
Yeah.
And that's definitely crossing the line.
Mm-hmm.
It's And we've definitely entered the negation of the negation, do you think, or no?
Sure.
All right. How so, John? By the way,
no, I'm negating the negation of the negation. That's what I'm doing right now.
All right. And for our viewers out there who aren't so inclined in script writing, what does that mean?
I'm going to let you explain it. You do it better.
All right. So here's how I learned it. There's 4 values. And so let's say there's truth, right? The value of truth.
Mm-hmm.
And or let's say justice, right?
Wow,
Since the show's called Justified. So there's the truth, there's the contrast, the contradictory, and then the negation of the negation.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the contrast to justice? Kind of like what, let's say, and it's not contrast in the sense of full like different. It would be like white lies, right?
Right.
Or
yes.
something
ambiguity.
like that. Ambiguity.
Yeah.
There's
the code, and then there's the not.
Yes, the contradiction would be injustice.
Yes.
And now the negation of negation takes that one step further, where it's injustice masked as justice.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the case of Justified, I think we've sort of entered negation of negation, where, especially for Raylan, who we'll get into in a moment, who's definitely, I mean, he is taking justice and masked it in so many ways.
Twisted it. Well, and again, there's what kind of justice are we talking about? Are we talking legal justice? Are we talking street justice? I mean, what kind of?
I mean, justice. I believe justice in the way we would normally see justice as.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I think he's definitely in the negation.
Yeah. Well, that presumes then we all agree on what justice is.
Oh, we don't. Which is why writing has become so hard. I mean, how do you speak about love and all these values if no one really agrees with
There's
them?
no general accepted principle.
Yes, that's for you writing buffs out there and storytelling buffs. But yes, I think story-wise she had to go because I mean you always have to elevate the stakes, and it was the way to go.
Well, it certainly did that.
Yeah.
Whether or not it could be done in a different way, or I'm sure there are hundreds of ways that you could have done it, but they chose that road, and that's the way. That's what they did, and it's certainly going to stir the pot.
Well, again, to their credit, so going back to the neo-Nazi tattoo, with one image we knew, oh my God, we got pissed off at Boyd a little bit.
Right.
With this, with one image, I mean, we cut to the outside of the house, we see through the lights, and we see two flashes.
Flash of gunshot, yeah.
With that image, we were like, what the?
Yeah, that's great. But here's my question, and just posing it to a writer. Because, that is the easiest, quickest way to stir the pot and to elevate the stakes. But it's also the easy way out.
Well, cliches work. That's what a cliche is. It's
but I'm just saying, I mean, it would have been interesting to see them do the same thing of elevating the stakes in a different way.
Well, I mean, here's the thing too for me. Yes, I think a lot of times you sort of, I mean, there's the definition of genre is a convention, right? And I'm not saying that this is what makes sort of this kind of genre, but at the same time, you can take what you would think are cliches and put them in such a context that they take on such a huge meaning and still have that significance. I mean, the reason why cliches work, but the reason they lose meaning over time because that's just what happens with most things. If like I tell you a joke,
familiarity breeds contempt in some respect. If you keep seeing the same cliche, it's like whatever. I see.
And if I hear like the same thing with like the easiest example is like a joke. If I tell you a joke, it's funny the first time, it was kind of funny the second time, and the third time you're over. You know, it's what's the term? It's not decay of meaning, but law of diminishing returns. Law of diminishing returns. So after the more you say it, the less significant it becomes. But in this case, they built such a nice context around it that it did feel new,
right,
and not cliched.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you're a writer then. You're a script doctor. What would be an alternative?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't have one offhand because I wasn't really thinking that way. I'm sure there is, but I think it's just a more difficult road to go down is to create that without killing her. It's the easier. I'm just saying it's the easier way to do it by killing her.
But I commend. Yes, it's easier, but in many ways, think of it though, story-wise, it's not, because I mean you just got rid of like an amazing character that we all love, you know, and that hits deep.
Well, I'm not saying that that's not difficult. I'm just because obviously you're gonna have to fill that void somehow, but they will. I mean, that's what writers do. They figure it out. That's what we do. I'm just saying it's an easier road to create that, to raise the stakes by doing that. I'm not saying it's easy to get rid of a character. I'm just saying I think it's a more challenging to try to do it by keeping that character and still putting them in jeopardy or still raising the stakes. That's a more difficult task to do. I don't know if you can afford to do that in a TV show because you've got to get to it and move on.
Yeah. Well,
but switching gears, but it's still speaking to the Helen character. What I thought was interesting, and I thought it was an omen or a portent or whatever, foreshadow. When Ava and Helen meet, Ava was sitting on the car and Helen drives up to pick up and they get out and she's got groceries and they're talking about it. And that's where she says, "What you can't tell what you don't know." Mm-hmm. I thought right there's that little meeting between them, and she's asking, do you know what's going on, all that kind of stuff. It's better if you don't know these things. I thought right there we were seeing a glimpse of Ava's life. Because basically what you're seeing is the archetype for me is you, meaning Ava can turn into Helen easily.
Yeah.
Because they're living that same life. And I thought what they did with Ava was interesting because Helen doesn't want to know anything. And Ava says to Boyd specifically after that meeting with Helen, "Don't leave me out. I want to know everything."
Yeah.
Because I don't think she wants to end up like Helen. So that character thing,
and she's the one who stayed alive.
Exactly, but I think that's what was happening. I think if when you break it down even more, I go that okay, I don't want to end up like Helen, and Helen is going to end up dead. Not that she knew that, not that Ava knew that Helen was going to end up dead. She just knew she didn't want that life.
Yeah,
but you're not going to escape it if you're involved in these kinds of guys. I mean, that's the life.
Yeah.
She says, I got him to stop drinking for a while, and she got him to promise to quit, to not hire whores or use whores. And does she really think that's going to stop him from, ending up in a pool of blood somewhere?
That's the one thing he can't. You can change them all you want, but that's the one thing you can't touch.
Didn't he just prove to her? He tried to change, and he kept telling her, "Look, I tried, but you are who you are." And she's still trying. She still thinks that she's going to save him.
Yeah, well, good luck to her.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
But no, astute observation. I commend you for that one. That went. Looking back on it, I could see it, but definitely went over my radar the first time. But let's get on to Raylan.
Yes, Raylan, because
that was a good plot line.
Yeah,
and of course, did we open up yeah, we opened up with Raylan at the top of the show.
Yeah, there was the aftermath of the shooting in the warehouse when the two guys were after him and he ended up killing them.
Yes, and so he's dealing with...
and we were posing the question in last week's show, who was after him, and none of us were sure. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember if one of us were thinking Gary or said Gary.
Nope.
I don't remember that.
No, we were all... It was either the Bennetts, Dicky,
yeah, or
Boyd.
we said somebody from Miami. And in fact, as they open up the show, when Raylan's talking to his former boss from Miami, he doesn't know who it is, and he's asking. They're trying to figure it out together who it could be.
Yeah.
So
quite interesting. And then we did. It's interesting because we did kind of get a foreshadow.
Yeah.
When he sees Gary outside and he approaches him. And
where is this? Which time?
The beginning of the show.
When he sees Gary outside?
Well, not outside, but outside the room.
Oh, outside of... Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was really interesting. If you look back on it, what did he say? Oh, when he's talking to the two FBI guys in the one room and they're trying to figure out who did it, and he says... the line he says is... I'm trying to remember... I can't remember the exact line. Oh... They ask him if he knows anybody that's holding a grudge against him, mm-hmm. and then they cut to looking out into the outer office, and it's Gary.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically told you right there, but I didn't really put it together, of course, until the end of the show.
Yeah, I loved how because Yeah, you weren't thinking that. You were just like... Well, what was interesting, because I think the reason is because we were in the eyes of Raylan.
Yeah.
And although, yes, of course, there is that animosity.
Yeah, and he has so many people who want him dead.
Yeah. And here's a guy who cried last week over...
Exactly.
So, you know...
Yeah, you weren't expecting him.
No, not
At least I wasn't. I guess if it was, I think on my list he was way down at he was at the bottom of the list. I didn't even think
he was non-existent on my list.
So.
He was a guy I know he hated and that hated him back, but I didn't think there would be anything like this.
Yeah.
And then of course he gets a nanny.
Yeah,
as he puts it.
He gets his nanny, who he's gonna, give the slip to, and they discuss it.
I mean, that's so.
Those guys were great together. I love that.
Yeah, really good chemistry. And I put down honest Raylan, and then unfortunately I heard the word horny from his nanny, so I put down horny. Because he said this shit makes me horny.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. Yes.
So, but yeah, I mean. Yeah, Raylan just totally takes justice and the law into his own hands.
Yeah.
Because I think this guy would have been willing to help him.
Yeah, and I don't know why he didn't just ask for his help. Is it, what was the deal? Is it the lone wolf thing? I got to do this on my own? I mean, here's a guy who's, he's a good lawman. I mean, I'm sure he's been there for you before. Why didn't he just say, hey, look, I got to ask some questions. I want you to help to back me up? Because I think the guy would have done it, regardless of what Art said to him.
I believe the guy would have done it 110%. He just wanted to. I mean, his whole thing was, I just got to stay with you.
Right.
He wouldn't have gotten in the way.
Yeah, he would have just stayed in the car, Who wouldn't want that guy? That guy's a great sharpshooter. I would have had that guy in the car. Hey, if anything goes bad, take him out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have left that guy. I mean, the only reason why I can think that Raylan was doing that is for two reasons. One, the lone wolf thing, and he didn't want to put the guy in jeopardy or put him in a bad spot where he'd have to answer for it later.
Yeah. Again, you can't tell what you don't know.
That's right.
But that seems to be quite a theme.
Yeah.
And we found out it was not Cubans.
No.
I just wrote Cubans.
Yeah.
Because he gives them this, okay, do I have to really do this or do I have to pretend I'm going to take a shower?
Yeah, exactly.
He's in the shower.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the ice cream bit. You knew he was going to give him the slip. You just wasn't exactly sure when. Do I look like the kind of guy that's going to slip out the window? And there's no window. There's back door somewhere.
But yeah, it's just such a great line for the ice cream. Like, it's got milk and eggs.
Yeah, exactly. That whole thing, I like that. I mean, they did a great job with the dialogue in that, man. That was lots of fun.
That really was. And the first one was too cold. You get freezer burn, whatever. The second one.
Yeah. But besides, they have Gillies or whatever the hell that brand is. That was nice.
Good plug for Gillies.
Yeah, whatever it was. I like that.
But yes, and then of course he tells Unoma, you should probably stay away from me. But then after his sort of whole investigation going after Mama Bennett, Eggs, the first thing he says, all right, let's go see. Really?
I'm going to go check on her. Yeah. Right. Didn't you just say stay away from me? But she's got protection. And here's the thing. They keep talking about somebody have to kill him. And the first thing when at that night when he goes back to his place, they leave the door wide open. He stands right in front of it.
Yeah.
And then when they're at home at night at Winona's place, all the windows, all the blinds are open. Anybody can see in. In fact, that's how he sees the car standing out there. I'm going, does anybody really believe in protection here? I thought this guy was, somebody's trying to kill him.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. This is the sort of second time I've seen police protection in a few days. I mean, I saw Scream 4. By the way, amazing movie. Okay. John has to see it, as well as all of our listeners out there. Jesse and I saw it together. Very fun movie. Okay. But they offered police protection in there. And, of course, being a horror movie, they sucked. But, yeah, I don't know. That
drove me nuts.
It's really not.
Come on, this is a smarter show than that. Who would do that? The first thing
maybe they do. Maybe that's an accurate portrayal.
No, the first thing they do is close the windows. You don't want anybody to be able to see in. You don't leave a door wide open when there's a guy trying to kill you. He's got a rifle. Just drive by. Not anything.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's reverse the heat.
Reverse the heat. Explain.
I'm going to leave, okay, you would expect me to keep the door closed and the windows down, but that's cliched. We're gonna now switch it up. So what's up?
So you're going to switch it up. So you would switch it up because your life is on the line. Someone's out to kill you. You don't know who it is, and they've already made an attempt. It was, and they almost killed your former wife in the process. And you're going to, okay, we'll do a cliche. That'll work.
No. The cliche is, the cliche would have been to lock the doors.
Mm-hmm.
The not cliche is not locking the doors.
Mm-hmm. And leaving everything wide open. Yeah. Okay. I still think, that's a good strategy.
I mean, you know what? Did it not work?
Well, maybe in the South, or maybe I should say in Harlan County, there's some sort of, Southern hospitality thing. We won't shoot you if you leave your windows open, your blinds open.
Maybe.
All right.
We got to look that up.
Yeah. That just drove me crazy. Come on. I hate that because it's a smarter show than that. And just little things like that just drive me crazy.
Well, you know what?
No one would do that.
Yeah, but maybe they would, and maybe that's the point.
Yeah, but they wouldn't. And that's the point. So,
I mean, maybe they would.
Okay, but they wouldn't.
I'm not even going to argue this anymore. Viewers, if you're from the South, just email us, if nothing else, and we want to clear this up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now let's go to this. When Gary is, the morning after they have protective custody, and Gary wakes up and he says, it's so nice to see your face, of whatever the reason, Winona. And then he says the whole thing about, I haven't been myself.
Oh, yeah.
Please explain. You made a comment as we were watching it. I don't know.
You know what? Because
you tried.
Girls don't really buy that. I mean, just shut up. No, you're only digging your grave deeper, I should say, and you make yourself sound ridiculous. Just let it go. Mm-hmm. Just say, I messed up. I'm sorry, baby. I know, just no. Yeah. Don't go there because it doesn't ever work. It doesn't. Don't ever say, I don't know who I was. I wasn't myself. Yeah. No. Because that only pisses off women more. Oh, is that right? From what I hear. I've never used that one, so I don't know. Well, maybe you shouldn't, because then you'll end up. I won't now that you've told me. I'm never gonna use that one. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna. Oh, baby, I was wrong, man. Let me make it up. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna ask your wife. But for me, I'm gonna be like, listen, I kind of said this to her, and I'll get the scoop for you. Okay, yeah. So whether or not you should be able to use it, I'll get the scoop for. See if it works on it. Yeah, okay, nice. I appreciate that. I'm going undercover. Yeah. Hope she's not. I mean, I know she listens to AfterBuzz shows, but I hope she doesn't listen to this one. Yeah, well, I'll make sure she does. I'll tell her it's on. Jesse, edit this out. Yeah, clip this. Anyways. Yeah, so Raylan's on. He goes to Meg's, finds out that Meg's pretty straightforward, honest. I like that little tete-a-tete they had, the two between them. Did you do it? No. Well, you killed my son, but you saved me from having to have Loretta's blood on my hands. So that doesn't make us even, but I promised Helen I'd keep the lid on, and I meant it. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. And you see, I mean, it's the strangest thing. She's climbing down the ladder, and he helps her down. This woman could have put a contract on him. According to him, he thinks she might have put a contract, and he helps her down. I mean, I just go, that's just odd. Didn't you think that's odd? You know what? The world would be a much better place if we all just shot each other. I know, it's a Southern hospitality, the civility or something, but it just cracks me up. You might have put a hit on me. Here, let me help you down on the ladder. I mean, so charming, so nice to each other. Indeed. I mean, I got nothing to say about that. That was weird. It's just nice. Yeah. Why can't we just say it's nice? John? No, it is nice. It's just, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. No. Well, we also see his hospitality come through when he finds. The guy's peeing. Yeah, yeah. You don't pee on someone's lawn. And then he puts him in the car, nice, and he doesn't hit him until he has to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even then, it's just kind of like, I get it. It sucks to get punched like that, but it's nonetheless just a clean punch. Yeah. So. And justified. Yes, truly, truly justified. Never unjustified. That's what we always like. So Raylan finally discovers who's put the head out on him and why it's going down. Yes, indeed. And so I love how they set up all these things and how they sort of perspire. They never go as you would imagine. And what are you referring? I was expecting one big shootout, but but nonetheless, I loved it because it was comedic. Yeah. Maybe because I have a deranged mind. Yeah. Yes, you do. But B, you know, just the tension, the unspoken tension.
Oh, the plastic and the being in the at the end of the show when they're in the mobile home or whatever it is.
Yes.
The RV. Yeah, the plastic's all there. And I thought, you know, would it have been justified for Raylan to just open fire on these guys?
That's what I actually thought he was going to do, because
so did I, because they had the nice plastic up there. It would have been perfect.
That and what did he say? He in the car, he said, "No, we're not going to call the police."
Right. Because all they're going to want to do is arrest him.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh,
uh-oh." Yeah, that's when I thought, okay, he's going to open up. He's going to pull out the gun.
Yes, but
empty the chambers.
But in true Raylan fashion and Justified fashion, he goes the opposite way. And then, you know, when he's back with his nanny, I'm going to continue calling him
that's
nanny.
good. Yeah, I like that.
So, Gary's gone. But you already knew that. Did you kill anyone?
No.
All right. At least that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Find out who's behind it. How much do you really want to know? You're right. Never mind. And there's that. And that I think that answers why Raylan hasn't told him anything.
Yeah.
Well, you can't tell what you don't know.
Exactly. And that's sort of...
So now that...
Well, Gary's gone.
Gary's gone. We think it looks like for good, because why would he come back? But he is kind of stupid, so...
He was told to go to Canada.
He was told to get out of the country or wherever. Yeah, but like you said about Dicky, he's dumber. What'd you say? He's as dumb as he is stupid?
Yes.
Gary is thick. That man is dumb.
I would go now. Oh, okay.
And he's just standing here, so he doesn't really see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Does not know that a Duffy was going to kill him.
No. He needs to be educated.
Yeah.
John, you need to learn that boy. That's ghetto talk.
Thank you. That's ghetto talk. Yeah.
Well, I mean, any last thoughts before we head to a commercial break? And
no, I just really enjoyed that one. I was surprised by a lot of it, and gratefully so. So I can't wait till the next one.
All right. Well, with that, let's go to our commercial break.
Want to find out what the AFTERBUZZ is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call. 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
It's television, and they want it to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's Shakespearean.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Find out why AFTERBUZZ TV is the #1 source for after-show content.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
I mean, who would you guys rather hear that from? Your husband or your best friend?
The wig will come out.
When the TV show is over, get your AFTERBUZZ on.
Welcome back. Hey, everyone. So we don't have... Justified doesn't necessarily have news and gossip. So why don't we get right into predictions?
Wow.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
By the way, my favorite term for Rich, our announcer, comes from our Archer After Show, where we refer to him as the disembodied voice, which is awesome.
Yes.
And by the way, John and I were just actually talking about it. We don't have news and gossip for Justified, really, apart from when we announced that there was going to be a season 3. And we don't necessarily do a special segment, but we've gotten a lot of fan mail where you guys want us to talk about pilot season in general. And so, given that we're in the industry, and so we'll either do that next week or for the finale.
We'll make sure we include that.
So, and but hopefully we got you some good stuff with the negation of negation and all that.
Yeah, that's nice.
But anyway, so 2 more episodes to go. The penultimate next week. The finale after that. Obviously, we've stirred up the pot. Helen is dead.
Arlo's going to be on the warpath.
Yes, indeed. And no longer is he going to be getting a hand job from an angel.
Nah, job from an angel.
Oh, and that's, of course, referring to Dicky, right? Because that's
Aptly
the
put.
So, so what do you think? Raylan is going to be the reluctant hero up until the climax of the finale?
I don't know how reluctant he's going to be. I think he's going to want to kill Dicky, because I think he appreciated Helen. I think he really liked her.
Yes.
I think he's going to want revenge.
but that's gonna be getting in Boyd's business.
Well, yeah, but
it's because he's getting tied up in that. So he's joining forces. Are we on Team Boyd with Raylan?
No, I don't think. No, Raylan isn't going to be on any of those. He's going to be on his own as always. He's never going to join any of those guys for any reason.
So he's a mercenary.
Well, no, because he's not for hire in the sense that mercenaries are typically. But again, I always go back to the code that they're living by. He's got his code, and his code says he can't. I mean, the only reason why he would join with Boyd is to get a bigger or to dispose of a bigger evil.
Mm-hmm. Well, bigger evils are brewing. We see blood.
Yeah.
And we see a bunch of stuff. So it's gonna be a big.
Yeah, we see Mags, pounding on Dicky.
Is that what we see?
Yeah, she slaps him.
Oh.
Yeah,
man,
so
he stirred up that.
It's all going. It's going crazy, wow. And it looks like Dicky gets hauled into prison because wasn't he just stepping outside the jail or the courthouse? The courthouse or the prison.
I think that's what they want us to believe. A lot of times this happens, but I think he's gonna try to get someone out of jail. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's always they always like to tease you with something like, oh, he's going to jail, and no, that's not gonna be the case. Right. But yeah, that's.
But I like that Dicky, now that he's untethered by Mom, because he doesn't care what he does, because look, you didn't give me anything. I don't have anything to fight for except for what I can. So screw it. He's a loose cannon.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're coming up to the season finale, so it's all gonna be awesome. We're gonna hit the negation of the negation of the negation. It's gonna be, oh my God. And once again, our hearts and what is it?
Thoughts and prayers go out
Thoughts
to Stuart.
and prayers. Why do I say hearts?
Family. Hearts, that's fine. Hearts and minds.
Hearts and minds go out to Stuart Lill and his family. And by the way, awesome name. So why not?
Right.
And of
Hang
course,
in there, Stuart.
Yes.
We're thinking about you.
And for those of you listening, we appreciate your viewership. You are the reason why we do this every week.
And keep those emails coming. So let us know what you want to hear.
Exactly. And all right, Jesse, take us out of here.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.